Welcome to Fandom Nights. Fandom Nights. Where we break down pop culture one fandom at a time. I'm Chris.
I'm Dustin.
And I'm Sherman.
And I'm Sherman.
And today we're talking about The Mandalorian. Season 2, Episode 4, Chapter 12.
12.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
The
so weird.
Siege.
I was watching some video or something, and they're like, Season 2, Episode 4, Chapter 12. I'm like, they gotta be confusing with this thing. I mean, it's not that confusing.
I was gonna say I don't think not many people have that problem.
It's just usually it's just Season 2, Episode 4. Like they don't add the chapter at the. I don't know. Chepisode. Yeah, we didn't say Chepisode.
That's
Chepisode
the first time
12.
Dad's ever texted me that. Roger that.
Oh, Roger. That's what I expected him to say.
Right.
So before we when you said that, just so you guys know, I just started diving into the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
Like, got through Episode 1 this weekend. I was like,
Yeah.
They really started that off like amazing.
Did you watch the movie first?
No. You didn't send me the list on how I'm supposed to watch it,
okay.
so I just started watching.
Well, I'll do that before I go.
Yeah. All right. Dustin, you want to take us through the story?
Sure thing.
This is not the right thing, so I'm just going to close that.
Alright, so it starts off with Mando trying to teach Baby Yoda to do some electrical work.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
He's like, you gotta connect the red wire and the blue wire, but you don't want to... I forgot what he was saying, but he's like, you don't want to do it
Don't want to connect, like, put the wires together because they're,
Right.
like, cross...
One's on his ground, one of them, they're both opposite charges.
Yeah, opposite charges.
He was so far away. It's like, okay, so even if he really wanted to, he couldn't reach in there. So how is he going to fix it? But this is how I like how when it's all over, he's like, well, it was worth a try. But yeah, he's like, don't take the blue wire off. And see where he took the blue wire off? That's where you put the red wire. But don't touch them together.
I just love the shot of when it connects and it cuts to Mando on a side view, and then just a puff of smoke comes out.
It's so cartoony, but it was good. It was good.
So, like, I know this is going to sound terrible. I literally just watched this episode this morning. Like, I waited all weekend.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit of spoilers, and, like, that was the only thing that got spoiled for me.
Oh, really?
Because I kept seeing a bunch of memes from, like, Baby Yoda, like, mixed in with, like, Among Us memes of, like, connecting wires. It just was Baby Yoda and then emergency bleeding underneath.
Part of it's like, oh, he's just a baby, but I guess he's 50 years old, but he's just a baby. But so it's like,
which is the crazy part because you actually
not...
see like a lot in this episode of like the gray wispy hairs on his head.
Oh yeah, huh?
I think that's just probably the natural color, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or no, I mean black because Yaddle from Episode 1 had black hair.
Yeah, it was like black or like dark brown or
That was
something
in the
like that.
deleted scene, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next thing, Mando decides that they need to go visit some friends for some repairs. So they decide to go back to Navarro.
Which, as soon as he said that, I saw some post on Reddit or something where they were like, oh yeah, so they talked about Ahsoka, so everyone was like, oh, we're gonna see Ahsoka next episode, and then someone was like, well, no, his ship's in pretty bad shape, so next episode's probably gonna be a repair episode, and then episode 4 or 6 or whatever, then or 5, then we're gonna see Ahsoka, and I'm like, dang it, that's probably what's gonna happen. But I don't want it to be that. But then that's what it ended up being. So
well, of course, I mean, I kind of predicted that too.
Yeah, they just extended
just
it
the
out a
condition
little
of the ship, and like I knew that the next stop wasn't going to be Ahsoka. Like I knew they were going to have to do something else right before it.
Yeah. But it was a good episode. It just
So then it cuts to a scene of a group of 4 Aqualishes, and they're robbing a cantina.
Oh yeah. I didn't know the name of the.
I looked it all up. Yeah. I was very interested in all the species names for this episode.
Because that was the same species that got his arm chopped off by Luke.
No, that was his friend.
Or yeah.
But it was
I thought he was the one that.
Nope, it was. I got the name from him. His name was Ponda Baba.
Okay.
And that was not the friend that actually got his arm cut off, but the guy standing behind him.
Oh, okay. I thought that the Aqualish was the one that got his arm chopped off.
No, that's the guy with the black eyes and the 2 weird things.
The buck face.
The buck face, yeah. And so the other guy was like a half humanoid, half something else.
And that's the one that got his arm chopped off?
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because he kind of looked like a human, but like a deformed human of some kind of sorts. But
I don't like you. My friend doesn't like you either.
Yeah. Which would have been.
I know.
I'm just picturing the Robot Chicken scene of that. Hey, tell him I like his haircut. No, that's not what I said at all.
So they're robbing the cantina, or I mean, it look like a cantina.
Just robbing somewhere. Yeah.
I didn't think it was
You guys didn't see that because they had the symbol for the Mandalorians above the entryway to that.
Oh right, so
it's where the covert was.
Oh, they're robbing the Mandalorian covert.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That makes more sense. I do remember that now.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Because it had the symbol, Boba's symbol for the mythosaur, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You're right. I do
That's
remember
cool.
that now.
Huh.
They hear some noises that turns out to be Cara Dune, and she epically takes them all out.
Yeah.
There's like
Oh,
a knife,
so
knife
good.
throwing
Mhm.
from across the way, and then she did some of her UFC moves because
Yeah.
she was actually in the UFC. Gina
Yeah.
Carlano, I think that's her name.
Gina Carlano, that sounds right. Yep.
Carano.
Carano.
And then I love how she picks up one of the guys and is
It
about to
goes
do
backwards.
a Samoan drop. It's called
Uh-huh.
a Samoan drop. You put them on the shoulders, and then technically you don't walk backwards. You just drop them. But she like walked backwards and then dropped them.
Using them as a
Yeah.
shield.
Yeah.
Right.
It was okay. My first impression was like, oh, yeah, standard fight scene. You know, all the throwing knives, throwing people. It was nothing shocking.
No
but
appreciation.
It was good. It was good. I'm just
I
saying.
was thoroughly
It was
impressed that
not-
they had like a knife throw like that on like camera.
It reminded me of like Jason Statham from Expendables, kind of knife throwing.
Mhm.
Just so.
I only watched the first one.
There's still a good knife.
No.
There's still knife throws in there.
Yeah, I mean the ending scene to that one is him like knife throwing from like 40 yards away and hits
Honestly,
the guy
I
before he
don't
shoots
remember
the.
anything from the Expendables.
I don't. I
I remember
remember.
the exploding bullets.
They're
and
supposed to
that's
be
about it.
pop culture people.
Oh, because Expendables is such a staple of pop culture.
It's
actually it is.
It
if
kind
you
of is
consider-
nowadays, but
Yeah.
like
You have all the most popular 80s action heroes all in one movie. How is that not like a pop culture?
This episode is brought to you by the Expendables. Dustin, continue.
Jason Statham almost died in that movie. Actually,
Did
yeah.
Hey, no spoilers. We could cover.
No. Like the actor almost died during filming.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
Like,
you know all about it, you just have never really seen it.
So
I
then
know the weird.
So then it goes out. Kara is also taking all the money to return it to its natural owners. So she like takes all the money that's on the table or whatever, and she's like, "I got to return this to my natural."
To the
natural
rightful
owners."
owner.
But she was telling that to that little squirrel thing. So.
It was like a ferret. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you guys catch at the end of the episode, there's all the concept art, and the concept art for that scene, that fight scene, is one of the, what was the alien called?
Aqualish.
The Aqualish. He was holding the ferret by the tail, and the Aqualish was
Firebending?
the ferret was fire breathing onto the Aqualish in the concept art. I'm like, that's awesome. He was a fire breather. I was gonna say bender, but fire breather.
Pabu.
We're not
Right,
crossing
exactly.
ours.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was just kind of
Actual
cool.
fire
Like that
ferret.
would have been a cool little addition to
Yeah.
the scene to make it like, whoa, you know.
No.
Kind
I
of,
mean, Dave Filoni did have some part in this, and he also directed
Yeah,
it
dude.
in the Avatar.
Dude.
right?
Oh.
Yeah. Wonder if
I've been picking up on that because like the episodes of Avatar that he directs, like I'm picking up a lot of like the way his style more of like directing and like how the story like flows.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I just wanted to note to reiterate that these species of the Aqualishes are the same from one pair of A New Hope from the cantina where Obi-Wan slices off the dude's arm.
Oh.
It's not the dude that gets his arm cut off, but it's the dude.
some of them really.
It's the
Okay.
guy that likes
That's
his
kinda
haircut.
Yeah, Ponda Baba. That's his name.
Yeah.
And so Mando arrives to. It cuts back to Mando, and he's arriving to Navarro, and he like lands, and then his what do you call it? Landing.
Yeah, it doesn't
thing
go all the
doesn't
way
go
down.
down all the way,
I
so
know.
just like jump off.
I expected him to walk to the end and just kind of like, and then make it fall down, but he just jumped off.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
And Grief Karga and Cara Dune are waiting, and we learn that Cara Dune is now the marshal of at least this town on Navarro, and so I thought that was pretty cool. She apparently like liberated the city
Yeah.
from the
yeah.
Empire after that whole deal.
I'm just gonna say it, she's hot. Like,
Dude, yeah,
right?
Gosh. There's
Face
like
tattoos. I don't know. I don't know.
what?
She's got
She
a
has,
face
like-
tattoo.
I don't think that's a face tattoo.
It is. It's
like
like a
that-
rebellion symbol.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
What?
You never see it? She has a face tattoo.
I thought it was just like a mole.
It's a rebellion symbol face tattoo right beneath her eye. You don't believe me?
Hold on, I'm pausing this podcast.
No. You go through this.
You keep going.
We got 3 of us here. I'll do
Okay,
this.
okay, because bro,
You never noticed that?
it's a mole.
It's a rebellion face tattoo.
Wow, I've never actually delved into the very details of their skin, but all right. I guess I'm not as hardcore as I thought.
Okay.
Please indulge me. I'd love to see this photo.
All right, what happens?
We don't know what happens because we're busy.
It is.
See, I told you.
What?
What?
No joke.
Apparently, I have a better TV than you guys do. Every time I see it, I'm like, it just looks weird. I mean, it's cool, but weird.
That is cool. How did I not notice that this entire time? Like last season?
Are you serious?
Seriously?
I didn't either, man.
Like, the whole time.
You sounded like you were being sarcastic.
No, I did not know.
There's a lot of close-ups.
I thought it was literally a mole.
So did I.
Yeah.
I thought so too. And I didn't care. I was like, she's still hot.
Yeah.
Mole. It's like,
I think it's hotter than it is a rebel
Well,
tattoo.
yeah, heck yeah. Dude. Heck yeah, it's a rebel tattoo.
Cara Dune
all
fan
over
club
that.
right here.
that's like when near the end of this, or not the end of this episode, but that one scene where the rebellion dude lays down that metal and stuff. He's like, "You should be with us" and stuff. And it's like the
Spoilers.
whole time. I know, but the whole time she's wearing a rebellion symbol on. Like, I don't know. It's a tiny little tattoo. If you didn't want to be part of the rebellion, I know. If you didn't want to be part of the rebellion, though, like it's not much to just get that off of there. I don't know.
How do you know they have tattoo laser removal?
She has knives. It's not that hard to.
You wouldn't even have to.
So
you wouldn't even have to remove it. Just turn it into a
tattoo on your arm. You'd be like, "Oh, I guess I'll just cut off my."
Hold on.
I have a little mole right here.
I got this. You think I'm gonna just cut this whole thing off?
But if I had a little tattoo the size of that mole, and I just hated the rebellion that much, and I wanted to no part of it again.
Why?
Just...
No. She doesn't hate the rebellion.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
It's just a part of her past. She's not trying to go fight for the rebellion anymore because that war is over.
If I had,
She's a free woman essentially.
Instead of cutting it off, why not just turn it into like a regular circle?
Yeah. Or
make people
fill
think
in
it's a
the
mole,
circle. Yeah,
like
that's what
we
I'm
did.
saying. Anyways,
It's so
enough about
small,
the
like.
mole.
Grief Karga is super happy to see Baby Yoda, which I thought that was awesome because the last time they were interacting was when Baby Yoda force healed him.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. That is pretty cool.
So,
and I like how he's like, is he taking care of you? Are you taking care of him? Like he doesn't let him answer.
I will admit that for a split second, I thought something bad was going to happen when Grief Karga took Baby Yoda.
Oh.
For a split second, I thought maybe he's going to try to run off or actually, because again, his allegiance to Mando was good, bad, and then good.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say it can't be bad for the right price?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
but they're all friends, and I like that.
And I like that they
you
kept
don't
the
have
friend.
to worry about it. It's
Right.
just okay. He's a free
These
lad.
two are trustworthy and probably will be for the whole series. That's what I'm gathering now.
Yep.
But again, for that split second, I thought that. But.
Oh, well, you definitely know something messed up's happening because those two people are coming up to fix the ship.
Yeah,
Which
the
they did
one
a great
person-
job, by the way, but except for the little tracking thing. Well,
Right.
anyway, spoilers.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You're not in charge of the story. Silence.
Anyways,
So,
you know something's
Okay.
gonna happen. I thought his ship was gonna. Well, anyways, keep going.
so we need to get a muzzle wrapped around.
To be fair, I thought
you're
I'd
gonna get a
do some.
microphone for me, and you're the
Just
you're
mute it.
the moderator, and you can mute me.
Yes.
I legitimately thought something was gonna go wrong though, because when they're walking away from the ship, that one repair person turns and just stares at the
yeah.
group.
And then the music gets all minor key
You're
like,
supposed
and you're
to
like,
killing my
okay.
next.
Okay, sorry.
Hey, we're not doing Avatar. Get that over here.
I'm so glad you. I'm so glad you're here for this, by the way, because we were like, oh, we just wanted to talk about Mandalorian last week.
All right, silence, peasants.
I take back what I said.
Take back. Okay. So we get that shot of the creature. Gosh. Who awfully looks like the species of Ochi of Bestoon.
Ooh,
Do you guys know who Ochi of Bestoon is?
No, I thought.
So from The Rise of Skywalker, he's the guy that kidnapped Rey's parents and was trying to go get Rey to bring to Palpatine.
Oh.
He's the one that stabs Rey's dad.
Okay.
With the Sith dagger. Remember when she touches it, she has the Force back visions of it?
Yeah, so it might be a younger one of those.
I don't think it's
him.
I don't think it's him at all. I think it's just the same species.
Okay. It looks like Maz Kanata kind of, but like
yeah,
a bigger,
when you put a side by side of the Oshi Bastoon and this guy, the similarities are too.
Yeah.
Also, like,
just from a distance, when it got closer, I'm like, oh, that's not them.
Yeah.
But it
also,
like
this one was like way taller than
right. It looked like a way taller version of Maz, but yeah.
So then we get the news that Greef and Cara Dune kind of cleaned up the town after they all left, and the Empire couldn't settle the Outer Rim planets. So why is the New Republic trying to do that?
Right. Which I've been, for some reason, watching a lot of YouTube videos about like how good the Empire was. Like, Empire did nothing wrong. Sometimes, like there's bad leaders, but they kept ordering this horrible galaxy that was just completely chaotic and all that stuff. And like a lot of Outer Rim people and stuff are suffering now under the New Republic because they're not being protected in a way from, even though it's a bad empire, it's still protecting them in a way, which I don't agree with 100%. It's just interesting to like watch videos about it and think about. But
it's just essentially like North Korea.
Right.
So we'll protect you, but you have no freedom.
Right. And they do horrible stuff, but I don't know. It's just, other than like blowing up Alderaan, like there's not a ton of horrible stuff that they did, but that was obviously a very horrible thing. So I guess it's like me saying, other than killing all the Jews, the Nazis did, but I'm not. Yeah. Anyways.
So they walk through the town of Navarro, and they're outside the place that the Death Troopers and the Flame Troopers from the finale of season 1.
Yeah. And they go in there.
But before that, there's a cool shot in the behind of a statue of IG-11.
I saw that.
I didn't see that.
Yep.
Whoa.
Well, I saw this online, and I actually did see it upon my second viewing. But
thank you, IG-11.
Yeah, I just thought it was cool that they have a statue of IG-11 in honor.
That's cool.
In the town of Navarro, where he
looking at the recording, that was just like oh, here's a blurry shot.
It's actually a picture of Bigfoot. You can't really tell from there.
Don't even get me started on Bigfoot, man. My uncles were talking to me about this guy named Peter something or other, but he has like over 2 billion views on YouTube for famously being raped by Sasquatch.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah, I do
what?
too. Yeah.
Are you serious?
It's the most funny. He's got over 2 billion views on the series about being raped by Sasquatch. It's the funniest thing in the world.
Oh my goodness.
Uncles were telling me all about it this whole weekend. It was awesome.
Okay. Well.
He's made a lot of money from doing it. So anyways, back to the Mandalorian. So they go inside the place where they pretty much almost died at the season finale of last season, and it turns out it's a school just full of children.
Man, I was so excited with the scene. Then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna drop Baby Yoda off here." I'm like, oh, "Baby Yoda in school! This is the greatest episode ever!" You don't really get to see that much of it, but I was so excited.
Why?
Because little Baby Yoda in class, like learning with all the little kids, I don't know, it just made me happy.
I was more excited about the concept of like, I hope he learns. I hope, like, I understand, like, he's been around a bunch of people, but like, with a little bit of schooling, I was like, maybe he'll learn how to like talk a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And like communicate with Mando.
Like, yeah.
You guys realize he was there temporarily as a safe place.
No, I know.
No, I get it. But
as soon as they dropped him off, though, I'm like, oh, he's going to be there. I was hoping he'd be there for like a week or something.
The immediate focus was the cookie macaroons.
Yeah, I know.
So there's no learning involved there. He's 5 years old.
But I mean, sans macaroons, like, I feel like he could have learned.
I know. I think
but it's putting a 5-year-old into like second grade.
They have to live so long is in order to develop their intelligence, because they're so focused on food all the time. In order to get their mind off of food, they have to live long enough to be like, you know what? There's more to life than just eating.
There's not.
I'm 25. I'm 250 years old. It's about time.
Yeah,
it's about time.
It's about time I learned how to talk. It's a lot more efficient than just grunting at what I want.
So yeah, Greef leaves the child at the school, and Mando is hesitant at first, and he says, like, you know, wherever I go, he goes. And Greef is like, he's not going to want to come where we're going.
Yeah, this is the first time that he hasn't taken him on a crazy mission, though.
Right.
Well, I guess he didn't take him on the mission to take that ship last episode.
And he left him back at the village when him and Cara Dune in episode 3 of last season against those Marauders.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of times.
Yeah.
Usually, he's always with.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was pretty cool that we have a clear gender for Baby Yoda.
Because it said he?
Yeah, because he said he. Mando said he goes wherever I go.
Yeah. Well, that's just what he thinks, though. Who knows? You know, it could be anything.
I'm sure he's inspected.
I'm sure. I guess you're getting pretty close, but...
Well, they're like father and son, and like, I'm sure you've inspected your guy.
Did we skip past the scene where they're eating on the ship before they go there? Yeah, we skipped past that, where Mando kind of lifts up his mask a little bit and drinks and puts it back down.
Okay.
Is that the first time we saw him do that?
Yeah.
In front of a living form.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Rosie and I were watching that. We're like, oh, he's kind of... He's getting, one, more comfortable with Baby Yoda, so he's like, oh, I can be more myself around him. Like, I'm just showing you just my chin. But and then on the other hand, like, the last episode when he was meeting those other Mandalorians, he's like, oh, I think he's just slowly starting to warm up to the idea of you don't have to always have your mask on. He still does, but he's just like, I can show a little bit of myself. So, I don't know. It's just like him opening himself up to Baby Yoda a little bit. It was nice. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really think of that. I thought he was pretty
I
stubborn.
took way more stock in that scene.
Yeah, because like I initially my thought is like when he met the other Mandalorians, like he was just so like, you're not Mandalorian, you're not a true Mandalorian. Like he's just stubborn, didn't care. Like,
oh no, you're a princess, but I don't care. Like
right.
you
You
guys,
might be a
what I think
different
by the
kind of
end
Mandalorian, but you're not a true Mandalorian.
I think by the end of the
believes.
episode, though, he's like, "Oh, these guys are fighting to take back Mandalore, and they're doing stuff. Maybe I don't agree with them, but, huh?" And so, like,
is there any scenes that indicate he was having
this
thoughts?
this scene where he's a very stoic person, but him opening up a little bit in front of a living human being shows that he's changing a little bit.
I don't think in that moment he was thinking about the other Mandalorians taking over Mandalore.
I know. I'm just saying.
I was thinking
think
he's just thirsty,
that. Right.
and like that's why he did it that way, where he's just like because he didn't take his mask off.
It was interesting. So yeah, wanted to talk about it. Things are shooting me down.
As always.
That is the way.
This is the way. Yes, Cara Dune says that he'll be fine there. He has her word, and so the kids in the class take a liking to the child. The boy next to Baby Yoda has these like I thought they were like Girl Scout cookies at first, like green Girl Scout Thin Mints.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought, but then they were like double layered, so they look like more like macaroons.
Yeah, they're totally macaroons.
And so
Maroon 5.
he reached out his hand like to get one, and the boy was like, no. And so when the boy wasn't looking, he just uses the Force and just gets the whole package of cookies.
Yeah.
Give me some of your tots.
That's funny.
Tina, eat your dang tots.
They're so like.
Tina, you fat lord, come get your dinner.
I don't know if I want to eat one of those things. They're so like neon bluish. Like you think they taste good, but they just seem like they'd be just bad.
See, you're also coming from like an Earth point of view. Like, would you legitimately drink blue milk if somebody put it in front of you?
Yes.
Yeah, I suppose I'd smell it first, and
No,
it'd take a little while.
See, you're a huge Star Wars fan, though, so like I know you would.
Depends on the setting. If I was at like Star Wars Celebration and they just plop down a glass of milk, yep, no question.
Well, again, that's the only logical place where
if I'm at like a,
you're not going to be at like Denny's Diner, like here's some blue milk, guys.
Right. If I'm at like some rundown restaurant, they give me blue milk, like, all right, this has probably been in there a little too long.
This is expired.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, does it normally do that?
No,
Or,
it doesn't.
Like,
I don't know. It's weird.
Keep skipping the time.
Keeps stuttering. Hopefully it's working. All right.
Otherwise, this is going to be a weird episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really weird. So then Mando and gang, I'm going to start calling that. It's easier. So they
Team
go
Mando.
back. Team Mando. Team Avatar, Team Mando. So Team Mando walks back to, I guess I don't really know where it is, but I guess it's just like where Grief Karga resides right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a lot of clerical work, he says, or something like that. And so then we see the blue guy. And his
Here,
species,
let's meet back at the office.
Yeah.
and his species is called a Mithril.
Oh.
The blue guy from the very, very first
Yeah.
episode.
Mm-hmm. I know they
comes
flash back because I watched the recap or whatever, and they flash back to him getting caught, and I'm like, that's weird to flash him back to that. Maybe I don't know why they were doing that, but
Do you
then
know what? Do you know why they do flashbacks?
yeah,
To indicate.
right.
part
Oh
of the
yeah,
story.
I know, but in my head I'm like, I can't think of a reason why he would be back in the story.
Because like Avatar does like the same.
Yeah, no,
thing.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
wanna
a
make sure you
straight
understand.
face. Do you know what flashbacks are for?
I like watching the flashback to think like, oh, what's going to be in this
man.
episode, and like think about it while I'm watching it. But Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
See, I wouldn't be laughing this much if Sherman wasn't just hysterically laughing.
Just the way. You know why they do flashbacks, right?
I think I'm understanding how you feel, Dustin. This time you're just like dogging on me this whole time. And I'm like, okay,
Chris, do you know what a
fine.
telescope is?
No,
Yeah.
Dustin doesn't know what a telescope is. I don't know what
I'm just
flashbacks are.
equalizing it. That's all.
Oh, man.
So, anyways, Mando sees him, and he almost had this like smug, not like obviously
Mando
not a
did?
smirk, yeah, but like almost like a smug stance.
Oh
Like-
yeah, he was
like-
totally just like. So,
Oh, like almost
Well,
cocky.
someone
No,
you've
just
beaten
like-
up in the.
Like I've seen you before, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like, like I could do anything I want
Yep.
to do right now.
I love as soon as Mando walks in, he like inks.
He's
all-
like,
Yeah, that like steam thing or whatever.
Oh, you made me ink myself. I just watched.
Jesus.
I just watched Finding Nemo with Rhea. So, oh, you guys made me ink. He's just doing that with Mando. Oh.
Mando says that if he leaves your sight again, I can always capture him again. He says that to Grief Karga. And Grief and Kara explain that there's an Imperial base on the planet and it needs to be destroyed to ensure that the planet can become prosperous in trading and have a booming economy again.
Hmm.
So they indicate that there's like a green part of like Navarro that's like safe.
Oh,
And
yeah.
There's this Imperial base that's like
Just has a
keeping from the
skeleton
whole
crew.
planet being like safe because he was like that's where all the soldiers from Moff Gideon came from.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's just being run by a skeleton crew, I think
That's
is
what
what
they
he said.
said,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh sweet, there's like 10
Nope.
guys over there. We can take them down.
Right.
But
Turns out there's way more.
yeah.
But Mando and the group get to the bottom of the lava flats where there's just like this single door sticking out of the rock.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Which
they
is an
drive
elevator.
the speeder. What's
Yeah,
his name
speeder.
drives a speeder over there? Yeah.
And it's the same speeder from episode 1, I think. Because it's Mithril speeder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Makes sense.
And they all get out except Mithril, and he says, "Oh, I'll go back to town until you need a rendezvous point." And Grief tells him to grab an air flash cutter. And he's like, nope, you're gonna stay right there.
I
Basically,
like
just
how-
treating him like dirt.
Well, they treat him like dirt, but at the same time, it shows like how freaking nice he is because he's like he has to pay off a 300-year debt or something like that,
350.
and so he's like driving up there, and Grief is like, "Oh no, you're gonna come with us, and I'm gonna knock off 100 years off your debt." It's like, wouldn't you just order him to come with you? But okay, you're gonna pay him to do it. Awesome, that's cool. But then later on, when he's like, "Oh, come with us" or whatever, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna throw 30 years more off your debt." He's so quick to like add more to it, and it just I don't know. It either like didn't sell for me for some reason, or it just felt like he's just jumping on it too quick. I feel like he's like, okay, I have to have you on this contract, but I'll be pretty lenient with you, and like, okay, you can take time off for this, time off for that.
I think it's just manipulation in the situation.
Yeah, but I'm glad he came along because he's the comedic relief.
Yeah, that's for sure. This whole time he was.
Yeah.
So Mando jetpacks to the top of the platform. And then flings a stormtrooper off the edge and smashes the ground right in front of them before they get the elevator open. I was just...
I was just waiting for something like that to happen too. As soon as he flew up there, I'm like, ooh, it's raining. Stormtroopers. I was going to say men.
So they get the elevator working, and they get up and go to the top, and they open the elevator, and Mando's just sitting there with dead stormtroopers just laying
he's like
bodies.
skeleton crew, huh?
He's like, yeah.
Which, for a fully functional base, 4 dudes
Right,
so far.
right.
Like,
And that's what I was thinking. He's like, skeleton crew, huh? And I'm like, you took out like 4 guys, so you were thinking there was going to be, what, 3 there? And 4 is... Maybe because they were all
oh man,
guarding.
just one extra guy.
Yeah, maybe because they were all guarding, so he's like, there's got to be more in there, so skeleton crew, huh? Yeah.
Oh.
So Grief wants to drain the cooling lines so the base explodes, and the Mithril finds a Trexler Marauder, an armored transport ship, as seen in Rebels and Rogue One.
Oh, okay. It looked kind of familiar.
So then they open the hangar door and sneak in the hallways, and it's kind of usual sneaking down hallway scenes.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that ship made me think of like a way ship from Star Trek Voyager of all things.
Well, we don't talk about Star Trek.
it's a pop culture.
No. It's a disgrace.
It's a huge pop culture.
No, it doesn't exist.
It is, but unfortunately, we're just not. I mean, we love
Star Trek
fans.
sucks.
Says you.
I'm kind of in the middle. I used to love watching Star Trek Voyager when I was a kid.
I should say
it was like awesome. But
I like the Chris Pine Star Trek movies. I do not care for anything other than that.
Have you seen the new Star Trek show?
Which one?
It's on like CBS All Access or whatever.
Picard or Discovery?
Discovery.
No, not yet.
No, I haven't seen it either. It looks decent, but yeah.
See, like new stuff might be good,
right?
But anything old is just terrible.
Yeah.
So the acting was terrible. The special effects were terrible. Everything was. Terrible.
I don't mind Star Trek. The issue that I have is I feel like it's one of those fandoms you need to have like the 50+ years of like history.
You had to be there in the beginning,
right,
to be a Trek.
Because watching it from the beginning, it's like that's all you had. You're like, this is awesome. It's sci-fi. It's this. But nowadays we have so much out there that it's like
It's not the only medium of space adventure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Grief finds a code cylinder. What?
Nothing.
No, I need to.
I just like the transition. You're just like.
I think we're gonna get some black screen here for COVID reasons. That's my reasons. COVID reasons. So Grief finds a code cylinder. Do you know what a code cylinder is?
No.
Yes, I do. It's what gives you access to like your different control panels.
Yeah, he's like slice that. Yeah.
Where did he find that one again? I can't remember though, because
once they get to, I think it was the control room or whatever they were going to. It was the room right before the vault for the lava.
Oh yeah.
So when they got in there, they took what?
One thing about them sneaking through the hallways and stuff. One of the stormtroopers says TK417. Is that the same stormtrooper name that
from episode 1?
Episode 4.
Or episode 4?
He's like, TK417. Are you there? I forgot to look that up, but I'm like, oh wow, that sounds super familiar. I think it was TK417, or maybe Sherman, you should look it up and we can keep going. I don't know. It was interesting.
So they sneak through the hallways again, and the Mythrol, he doesn't really have a name. They just call him Mythrol, but that's the species name.
Okay.
And they slices the door and finds the Vault of Lava, and this scene is just Mythrol just constantly complaining like, "There's no guardrail." Like all these like, "I can't do it because there's no guardrail."
He's like, "I'm scared of heights and all that stuff," and then he gets out on the platform and he faces out. Like, dude, that's not how you shimmy across a ledge.
Right. So then he finally, after jumbling a bunch of buttons and stuff, he drains the cooling lines and the shaft is going to explode along with the whole base. And so then Grief Karga says they got 10 minutes at most to get out of there.
Yeah.
So now we're getting into the juiciest of the juicy.
I know, this part was...
So this is where I need complete silence.
Okay, we'll let you run through this, and then after you're done, then we'll talk
about it. I mean, I'll pause to, like...
Okay.
But don't like, jump ahead here. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Don't jump ahead.
That's all I'm trying to say.
That's all I'm trying to say. Where have I heard that before?
I don't know.
I've something to my... I don't know. I'm forgetting about it. Anyways, so the Imperial remnants were more concerned with destroying evidence than saving their own lives. Those two officers,
yeah,
they were like,
destroy it,
destroy it, and they didn't like care about like trying to shoot them at all. Hardly. I mean, one guy was, but like, wouldn't you think both of them would try to like defend their lives? But one of them was like, destroy the evidence, and we got a quick glance, but there wasn't really anything I could really make out because it was just kind of like a, I don't know, weird computer screen. But... So, anyways, the group stops and they notice a clone submerged in a fluid, which I think is probably Bacta or something. And Cara Dune tells them that this isn't a military operation, it's a lab. And then Cara Dune says we need to get into the system and figure out what's going on. So, what I'd like to say about that, what I think is a clone in the tube, is it looks exactly like Snoke. Yeah. Because it has the exact same cut, or like scar on the top of the head. It looks just like Snoke from Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. That's for sure what they're going for. They're going for, like, this is the research lab where the Emperor, or one of them maybe, where the Emperor's trying to like figure out how to clone himself. Because we'll get to when the dude talks.
I literally word for word took it.
Yeah, but the clone I had to like stop it, rewind it, pause it, and try to get close
Yeah.
because my TV screen, like Sherman said that one week, is really dark. So I'm like, what is going on in there? Oh, okay. So like it looks like an arm, kind of like this, a super skinny body. This body looks exactly like Snoke. The arm looks like Snoke, but the head looks like elephantized or something. Like those people.
Do you think there was something on his? There was just some kind of sack on his
shoulder. It looks
shoulder.
like the head has like a big goiter growing off of it, or like it's deformed. Like this is a failed one, and that's like what he talks about. But I'm like, well, okay, all right, and I told Rosie again, like, man, I would like obviously this is what Rise of Skywalker was going for, but I'm like, I wish that they released something like this before Rise of Skywalker to kind of like prime the pump and okay, all right, now we kind of the Emperor's back. Here's like cloning, dark magic, whatever. Okay, yep, it makes sense. I've seen that before.
If all this stuff would have came before Rise of Skywalker,
even
it
like
would have made more sense.
Right, or like hint at it or something. And obviously they did a little bit, but not. I mean, I don't know. It just.
I get it.
And again, we talked
there was
about,
there was no clear cut story for
even having it. It doesn't fix Rise of Skywalker, but it helps. I don't know.
You're right. So then we get a shot of Mando says he doesn't like this. I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Mithril, he goes and tries to access the system. He's like, "Pardon me," and just tosses the bottle.
He's all apologizing.
"Pardon me, sorry."
Are you looking up that TK417 thing?
It's so the one from episode 4 is TK421.
Okay.
Okay, so then after the Mithril turns on the system or whatever, it activates the recording or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took it word for word, and this is what it says. We replicated the results of the subsequent trials, which also resulted in catastrophic failure. They were promising effects for an entire fortnight, but then sadly the body rejected the blood. I highly doubt we will find a donor with a higher M count, though. I recommend that we suspend all experimentation, in fear that the volunteer will meet the same regrettable fate if we proceed with this transfusion. Unfortunately, we have exhausted our initial supply of blood. The child was small, and I was only able to harvest a limited amount without killing him. If these experiments are to continue as requested, we would again require access to the donor. I will not disappoint you again, Moff Gideon.
So here's my question. Are they cloning the Emperor and using Baby Yoda's blood, or are they cloning Baby Yoda, or are they making a new thing with Baby Yoda's blood?
I think they're making a totally organic being and then adding the transfusion of blood into it to give it midichlorians.
Which,
Essentially for sensitivity.
Because of this scene, I'm like, whoa, okay, so the Emperor's trying to clone himself and do all this stuff and put himself into different bodies. Like, he put himself into that robot. I'm just saying, like, possibility.
Well,
but
see, his consciousness did not go into the robot. These were all pre-recordings.
Right. But like, in order for his consciousness to go into another living being, it has to have the same M count, which this is probably one of the only times we've heard about midichlorians since
Episode 1.
Episode 1. This is the first time they've ever referenced it, really. And especially in a show that, like, is so beloved by Star Wars fans, they're bringing up one of the most hated things from Star Wars fans, but in a cool way, like the M count. Like, ooh, that's kind of cool.
Right.
Wish they would have just kept it as M count and more mysterious, and I don't know, yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah, but if you would have said M count in Episode 1, you'd have to explain what that is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I personally think it's either one of two things. That, yes, it's secretly part of the contingency plan that Palpatine had in store. Because obviously when he went down the reactor shaft in Return of the Jedi, he immediately transferred his consciousness into another being on Exegol, though.
Oh, okay.
So...
Okay.
There was already Sith cultists and stuff on Exegol already working on stuff before.
Dude, this whole episode like brought back flashbacks of all the other stuff I've been listening to this week. Like, for some reason I've been doing a deep dive into Joe Rogan. And this ex-military CIA guy who went and his cover was like doing a documentary, but he went after World War II, all the Nazis like moved down to South America, and they continued to do horrible experiments on human beings down on the South American people, like on kids and stuff. And it's like, man, the Nazism like was there, got defeated, and then like just got transported to a different area, which is exactly what happened. I mean, in Mandalorian, it's just, I don't know.
No, it's horrible.
It's just crazy, right? Yeah. But I don't know.
Always have a contingency plan, Chris.
Yeah.
So either that, or I think it's for Moff Gideon's so I'll kind of skip ahead here, but the very final shot, we get the shot of Moff Gideon.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's either used for the one thing, or one of two things. The one thing for the Emperor and his overall contingency plan, or it's used for Moff Gideon. Because it seems like right now, Moff Gideon is the top dog in the Empire. Right now. He's the top person, as far as we know right now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, he's probably got his own agenda, own things he wants to do. He's got the Darksaber. So, if you remember seeing all those different robot things, a lot of people have been saying it sparked my brain from reading the Dark Empire series that you gave me. And in those Dark Empire series, they have these things called Dark Troopers. And they're essentially troopers that are Force sensitive. And it's way harder for Jedi to kill them.
Right.
Because they can literally use the Force.
Yeah.
They don't carry lightsabers, but they can use the Force.
Huh.
Some of them use lightsaber-like weapons.
Yeah, that last scene was cool, too. I'm like, what is that? They look like a bunch of army of Darth Vaders, but they're not. It's like, what is that?
And it almost looks like Moff Gideon's suit. Almost looks like a smaller version of those.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
It's almost looked like if he had like a headpiece somewhere for
Vader.
He'd be essentially Vader or whatever.
Yeah.
That's why, like, so
like maybe that is a life support suit he has on.
So because of like the time that this whole thing takes place, like that joke text you sent about like spoilers for this episode. Yeah. I no joke. As I'm reading them, I'm like, these are all like technically plausible, except for that bottom one.
Yeah.
I'm like, when you say Darth Vader comes back and attacks Mando, I was like, yeah,
all right.
no,
Well,
all right,
kind of.
Well, you guys like
really.
No spoilers, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna give you the most fake spoilers possible.
Yeah, but I mean, like realistically, all of them are so plausible.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways, so back to the episode. So Mando says that this must be an old transmission because he is dead. Because Moff Gideon is dead. And then the
then he's like,
Matharo, the blue guy.
The blue guy. Yeah.
He says, no, this transmission's only 3 days old. And then if he's still alive, that means that they're going to send backup and stuff. And then all of a sudden, backup
he freaks
comes.
out and he's like, we got to get back to the kid.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he says he's got to get to the kid later. But. So Mando and the team escape through the hallways, but then they split up because then Mando says he's got to get the kid, and then the others take the speeder and try to meet him there. So then the stormtroopers still suck at aiming.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same thing. Like, man, they cannot hit anything.
Like, they hit Mando once, and then when he was flying up, man, they shot like 30 shots. I'm like, none of those hit. Come on.
There's all those theories about how the stormtroopers in the original series were like told not to shoot Luke and all these different things, like by the Emperor. Whatever. There's just fan theories, whatever. But then it's like, no, they just suck at shooting because
they couldn't hit the side of the bantha.
Exactly. These shot marks are far too accurate for Tusken Raiders.
These must be stormtroopers.
Yeah.
That just kills it. That's just comedy right now. Like, I'm not even mad that they kind of made that hiccup in it. It's just funny to me.
I know. And the one time you see Tusken Raider shooting, he like hits the thing he's shooting at.
Yeah.
Pod racer.
Yeah.
Anyways.
While it's moving.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, they're expert snipers.
The opposite of what Obi-Wan said.
So then we get the awesome shot from the trailer when he's like running and then like on the top of the volcano or whatever, he's like running and jumps across and jetpacks across the canyon or whatever.
Yeah.
See, this made me curious. So like Cara Dune tells him like you should jetpack. It's gonna be way faster.
Yeah.
So like from the base all the way back to like this like the city, how like that's gotta be like an extremely long distance. But it makes me curious. What does that jetpack run on?
That, and if you remember from when Cara Dune was showing them on the planet, the green space was here. It wasn't on the complete opposite side of the planet. It was only like right here.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
again,
for
is the planet is Navarro the size of Earth? We're basing this on the size of Earth now.
Well, no, I'm basing it on the size of. It's a tiny little jetpack. Does it like? How does it have the capability to fly? Like you know.
I know. I thought the same. I thought the same thing. Like,
we not bring real world physics in.
I know.
No, it's not. I'm not.
We're on the verge, though.
It's not. Yeah. I'm legitimately curious. Like, what kind of power source does it run on? Because like we know, like lightsabers run on kyber crystals.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, there's no like
Yeah.
source to back the jetpack.
It's fuel. What kind
also,
of fuel,
like,
I can't tell you.
Because
I think that's why he didn't fly there, because he needs to get there, and then he wants to have his whole jetpack in reserve for whatever he needs to do.
But I'm also, I like to know like the power sources behind things too, because like blasters, what do they run on? Because like you do, Mando's said before, like mentioned in the past, he's like, we're running low on ammo. I'm like, what do they run on?
Right, yeah. But anyways, I don't think we're gonna have a answer for that right now. But Dustin, you should go through the story. We can look it up.
You have this like hurry aspect,
No,
but then you're like, let's go on a 5-minute tangent because no one cares. But then let's get back to the story every time.
It's more of we can come back. It's put a pin in it.
So the others run into the troopers in the elevator that they took up. So Cara Dune gets into the Marauder and rescues Grief and the blue guy, and then they jump off the edge. And I just love how that thing sounds. Sounds like a muscle car.
I know, right?
That's awesome. So all of a sudden, there's Imperial speeders that are after them, and I thought it was pretty funny that 2 of them die, like on the way down.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, man, they suck.
Well, they were like weaving in and out of these things, and I'm like, that's such an unrealistic thing. They're just so stupid. They would probably crash, and all of a sudden they crash. I'm like, yep, that's what I thought. Shouldn't be doing that. You're just playing around too much.
By far my favorite type of trooper, though.
The
Scout troopers?
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Mainly
they're
because
the ones that punch Baby Yoda.
Like,
so weak.
On the scale of what's actually out there, that's like,
no. I get it. I think it's more of like it's a costume design. I just really like the helmet better than. Like,
I do like the helmet.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. But my favorite troopers are probably it's tie between Death Troopers and Bird Troopers. Though.
Bird. Purge. I don't know what that is.
Jedi Fallen Order. You should play.
They're not reliable for use in zero or low or high atmospheric situations, since the atmosphere has required gases that produce the thrust. So it intakes air, changes the chemical somehow, and changes it into rocket fuel, basically. So it's just an endless supply of fuel, is what it sounds like. But keep going.
That actually makes sense, because like when I've played games before, like that Boba Fett Bounty Hunter game, like it would like recharge up, like you have to like and then it would like beep.
Yeah.
Go back up. Whatever.
That is extremely helpful, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
heck yeah.
So it depends on what atmosphere you're in. If you're in a certain kind of atmosphere, you're going to be able to make unlimited fuel.
Yeah.
But then if you're in a different kind, it'll charge up. And then if you're in a different kind, like if you're out in space, you can't fly at all because there's nothing to suck in. It's like a...
I'm sure it harnesses
like
storage,
a reserve?
a storage tank of reserve.
Right, yeah.
So you could fly through space for
a little bit, yeah, right.
But you wouldn't be able to fly forever until it's done, until it needs a recharge.
Right.
Yeah.
Chase scene was epic. I liked how Cara Dune kind of smashed one of the speeders into the side of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a classic, like, Spielberg /
It was a really satisfying
Lucasfilm kind of thing.
Smack into the side there, though. But then the other guy gets on top, and you're like, "Oh, what's he gonna do?"
Because you see that, like, Indiana Jones.
And and I like when that happens. But what's his name is like shooting. Grief is like shooting the guys, the TIE fighters in there, or even the jet speeders behind him, and he's so far off. Like he has bad aim. So it's like, man, does the Empire just have like horrible weapons or what?
I think it's just the targeting systems in general are so outdated.
I mean, if you think about it, like I'm watching Rebels again with my mom, and like we just picked up Rex and Gregor and Wolf and stuff, and they're constantly talking about how the Stormtrooper armor is just terrible compared to their clone armor.
Oh, sure.
Because if you think about it, like you have millions upon millions of Stormtroopers, like you're not going to use the best source of material for millions of stuff. Like you're going to use the most cheap, cost-effective stuff to just get it on a body. So of course, like it just sucks.
Well, and when Grief was using his gun to like shoot, it reminded me when you like fly a cheap drone, like a $5 drone you get from like Walmart or something. You can fly it and you can hover it, but if you just barely touch the toggle, it's like so it's like it's very touchy to how you control it, you know. So
that makes me think like the difference between the Empire and the Republic, like because like when the clones were originally created, they were just like, no, we're just gonna give them the best armor possible. We'll just send them out there, and the Empire's like, nope, we'll just mass manufacture this crap.
Saving money.
Saving money. So then the last guy in the speeder gets on top of the actual Marauder and then is getting out his grenade, and that's when Grief Karga spins it over and shoots him and blows him up.
Sweet.
And then we get that cool shot. I like shots like this where it's just an open shot of them leaving and then you see the helmet bouncing.
Yeah.
I love those kind of shots. I don't know.
I was expecting it to like face the camera when it like
It
lands.
spins and then faces the camera.
So then all of a sudden the lab blows up behind them and they feel like the force of it.
Yeah.
Like almost like an atomic bomb, just like feeling the actual like G-force of it. All of a sudden TIE fighters are after them. They leave the base and go after the Marauder. And Grief has trouble hitting them at first, but then destroys one. But it happens to like come crashing down on it.
Yeah.
On the weapon system, so he dives into the cockpit.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
then,
was he just a terrible shot while they were coming towards him? Because like I got the like feeling that he was trying to like bring the canyon down on top of them.
I did think of that initially too.
Like because
Yeah,
he
no,
keeps
I
shooting
was
the
like,
rocks.
He keeps shooting the rocks,
And I'm just
maybe
or is
that's
he
what
just
he's
like a terrible shot?
No, I think it's just that sensor thing is like overly sensitive. You just touch it, and it goes woo, touch it, and it goes whoosh, like he can't doesn't have fine control.
Kind of like the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo. And
Yeah, right.
So they get back to the town, and the TIEs are cutting it close, and they get out, and all of a sudden, one of them blows up, and then the other two like scatter up, and you just see the Razor Crest just coming in and chasing them up, and chases him up and up into the atmosphere, and then shoots the other one, and then does like a cool Poe Dameron and drift in the air,
That was
and then
so awesome.
and then just charges like when you just like blast down, and then just starts spiraling down, like just spinning, and the TIE fighter spinning. They're both shooting at each other, and the TIE fighter misses all the time because they suck still, and then the Razor Crest just like 3 shots, just and then just boom, kills them, runs through the debris, and we just hear da 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 da, and then just the cool music.
Yeah.
And the whole time, I love how Baby Yoda's literally just riding a roller coaster.
Yeah. He's
No, he's just like,
yeah.
I
was laughing so hard the first time he had his arms up, and I'm like, oh,
when
his
it
arms
blows,
up,
that
and he does
first
it
one
again.
blows up
Yeah.
on the way up.
I love how he's like, oh, was that fun, buddy? And he's like,
It's just blue.
I was like, that reminds me of the cookies you just ate.
And then
He's still got the package in his hand too.
Yeah.
just keeps eating.
So yeah, I put in that the child throws up after some twisting in the sky, and then Mando wipes it up with his cape.
Oh, is that what he's wiping it?
Yeah.
What are you wiping it with? Just your hand?
With his
Aw,
cape.
That's cute.
Yeah.
It's like a dad. Just I'll sacrifice my sleeve.
So Mando and the child leave. So then Cargo's like, you're gonna stop back, and he's like, no, like I should probably get out of here because Gideon's after the child and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I like how he says when he's like wiping it up, he's like, no, I've got an onboard malfunction.
Yeah.
And then they leave. Go ahead.
Oh, he's just already in the ship, so he's just like, I'm not even gonna land. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go fly over and get out of here.
So the next scene is it cuts to the New Republic officer from last episode, asking Grief some questions about the Imperial base.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know it's the same officer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's just asking him some questions, and he's like, so about that Razor Crest? And he's like, I never mentioned any Razor Crest. He's like, but your transponder did. He's like,
Your transponder logs.
my droid doesn't know the difference between anything pre-Empire. Like,
Yeah.
Can't believe that.
Yeah.
And so I just
Just
mentioned,
straight up criminal. He's like, oh yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, cop.
he's like, I'll be sure to send you a gram, if you ever make it out this far again.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty much ensuring like we'll never see you again. But
Yeah.
Grief is just growing on me so much.
Mm-hmm.
So then we get the shot of, if you want to go through this, the New Republic soldier talking to Kara.
Oh yeah.
We kind of went through this already.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, if you want. He just tells her something is going on out here, and like most people don't believe it, and it's like
this isn't an isolated incident.
This isn't an isolated thing. Like,
ooh.
so I was just gathering that there's something else lurking in the galaxy that the New Republic and citizens of the galaxy just don't know about. Like maybe like they're hinting at the First Order or something. Or do you think that they're hinting at everything Mando has done?
I think everything that they're hinting at stuff that like
happened because of Mando
Moff Gideon is doing, like the Empire is doing.
I took it as
I think Mando is just kind of like stuck in the middle of it.
I get that, but do you think that the New Republic officer was referring to the weird stuff that's happening? What do you think the weird stuff is? Like, do you think it's whatever Moff Gideon's doing, or do you think it's something else, or what do you think? You know what I mean?
I think it's just the Empire.
Like, I get.
I think Mando, like everything Mando's doing, and with everything Moff Gideon is doing, I think they're all one and the same because like he's got the child, so like everything the Empire's doing is, I think, directly related to whatever Mando's stuck in.
And I don't think it's just Mando though. The Empire wants the child, but they're also on the search for any other Force-sensitive beings, or like they're doing messed up stuff all over. And that's what I think
it's tough because in this episode you hear Pershing, right? That's his name?
Dr. Pershing.
Yeah, he mentions that, like, he's like, I don't think we're going to find another, like...
Well, I had it word for word.
Yeah.
The child was small and I was only able to harvest a limited amount without killing him. If these experiments are to continue as requested, we would again require access to the donor. I will not...
No, this part right here.
What?
I highly doubt we will find a donor with a higher M count, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's the most Force-sensitive, like, being.
So
that they've found.
That they've found.
Right.
Yeah.
So their experiments so far with whatever they took from him have been the most successful.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Interesting.
So then after that, he asked if she lost anyone from Alderaan or whatever.
When he said that she was from Alderaan, I was like, oh man.
And when he's like,
Did you lose
anyone? Rosie and I we both said it like at the same time. Yeah, everyone. And she said it. Rosie said it, and I looked at her and I'm like, I'm so proud of you because like she remembered what Alderaan was, that it was destroyed, that she's from there, and this is after. Like she remembered all these details. I'm like, man, you're learning a lot about Star Wars.
Yeah. So then, he leaves that medallion. I think is like a symbol of hope that she'll join, maybe. But she kind of like waves it off. Like,
well, the other thing is like towards the bottom of it, like you see like a little like stripes, like these, which is more related towards like a soldier's like
Right. I wasn't sure what that was. Is it supposed to be a metal or?
Yeah, I think it's a metal. No, it's a metal.
Okay.
For something.
Wouldn't have a.
Not necessarily, because
like pin on your shirt.
Yeah, it'd be something like you'd put on like your uniform.
Yeah.
I took it as like one of those coins that like, what do you call it? Like a
challenge coin.
Yeah, like something that like I forgot who does it, but it's like some government officials like or military or something. They like give medallions to like kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're challenge coins.
Yeah.
So if you're a soldier and you go up to a general or something like that, they'll have a bunch of challenge coins on them. And if you get a challenge coin from that general, it's like, because in the military you can't like give them a thumbs up or you can't do recommendations. You can do a point, but there's not like a good job, buddy. In the military, there's challenge coins. So if you want to like show someone that you're appreciative of what work they've done, you give them a challenge coin. So like a lot of people, like military guys, will have their collection of challenge coins behind their desk or on the, like displayed prominently. And it's also a thing, you always have a challenge coin with you, and that's what they use those little pockets in their jeans for a lot of times now, because if you don't have a challenge coin with you, it's called a challenge coin, because if you say what the heck do you say? You say like show your coins or something like that to everyone who's in a room, and the person who doesn't have it is like needs to either pay for drinks or the food or whatever you're doing at that time. Like they're the one responsible to take care of everyone because you don't have your challenge coin with you. So it's in real world, that's what it's like a big thing. So yeah.
And this has been the Military Minute with Chris.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the Imperial Remnant, and they're talking to the same mechanic who is fixing Mando's ship, and secretly is working for the Empire, who placed a tracking beacon on a ship. And so the officer goes and tells Gideon, and then Moff Gideon says that they will be ready.
They will be ready. And then it pans back and you see all those
Right.
Darth Vader robot Moff
Dark
Gideon
troopers.
things.
Troopers
Dark
in the
troopers.
background.
Yeah. Darth troopers.
I think they're the Dark Troopers. They look, I mean, they're not probably Dark Troopers, but they look...
Something similar.
Well, yeah, just like Kylo Ren was technically taken from Legends as Jason.
In the IMDb spoilers, they do reference them as Dark Troopers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because part of the trivia for this episode is that the first appearance of the Dark Troopers were in 1995 during a video game. Yeah.
Yeah.
During a comic series.
Weren't the Dark Troopers in Rogue One?
They were in a comic series too. What?
Maybe
the first one was in a video game.
Weren't they referred to as Dark Troopers in Rogue One? Those black
video game
Troopers?
Star Wars
Troopers.
It was Dark.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
Star Wars
Death
Dark Forces.
Yeah.
During 1995.
Cool.
Cool.
So yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
Concept art at the end was pretty good.
Yeah, and like I said, the only thing I noticed about the concept art was the fire-breathing ferret. So yeah, good episode. We don't really rate them or anything like that, but thanks for joining us. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok someday, and subscribe and like this video.
And Twitter. Mainly because I've been doing the pages every day.
Oh, have you? I guess I don't follow. Yeah. I have us on Facebook and Instagram, but I haven't done our own Twitter.
Oh, sure. Cool.
Do you? Well, yeah, but do you even do Twitter, Chris?
No.
Yeah.
I have a Twitter, but I haven't been on it in a while. I gotta go back on. But yeah, thanks for joining us today, and we will see you again next week for Mandalorian, and in a couple days for the rest of the episodes. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Quick thing.
What?
Mando episode 5 will be titled The Jedi, and it will be 54 minutes long.
Whoa! That's exciting.
Yep. Alright, now we can end it.
This is the way.
I have spoken.
That was my line. But
Oh.
sorry.